In this lab exercise, we will learn how to install Git on your PC or any laptop. Type in Git download on Google, you will see these searches appear on your screen. Click on the first link and you will be redirected to this download page. Here it automatically detects your operating system. Like in my case, it's Windows 10. Once you click on the Windows, an automatic download starts. It will download the latest version for you, so no need to worry for that. Alright, the setup file has been downloaded. Let's begin the installation procedure. Allow it to run the setup. So begin by clicking on Next. This is the default path of installation. If you want some other path to install Git, you can change it here. We are okay with the path, so click Next. Here are few options that you see. These are the components selection that you need to install with the Git. This is the simple option to select just in case you need the GitHub icons on the desktop for your ease of access. Next is the integration of Git with Windows Explorer. Here the two options are for your daily actions that you will perform using Git. Using the bash, you will be able to use the command line interface to write and execute your commands. Similarly, Git GUI is an advanced version of it where you have access to all actions using a user interface. Git LFS is a Git extension that helps you save some space when you are dealing with some large file size. I would recommend you to enable it unless you have a specific reason to disable it. Associate.gitconfig files with default text editor should be enabled as it allows you to check into the config files easily. Associate.sh files to be run with bash unless you want your shell scripts associated with Windows bash, you will have to check that. Okay, use a true type font in all console windows. This can be helpful to you if you use Unicode characters in your file names. Check daily for updates is not recommended as it uses extra bits of your computer resources, making it slow. Alright, so before moving on further, just ensure that these two options Git bash and Git GUI are checked. Then we click Next. This is simply the name that will appear in your search bar or in the Start menu. If you want to change it, you can change it by editing. As we are okay with it, click Next. And then you go all the way to complete the installation. Okay, so now the installation is completed. We will uncheck the release notes view and check the launch Git bash option as we want to run it and click on Next. Then this is the first screen which you see when you have installed the Git on your PC. To check the version of the installed Git on your PC, type git --version. So the latest version available today, 2.29.1, is installed. To explore some other general options, you can type Git Help and it will provide you with a list of options. In our next lab session, we will use the console to commit, create repositories, push and pull, and perform other actions from a local PC. This is another developer PC on which we have just installed the Git setup. On this PC, we want to maintain the main repository, which is on our SkillCurve account. So for this, we need to give those credentials to our locally installed Git on our PC so that it recognizes our account. In order to check if our locally installed Git is configured or integrated to an account, we write git config -- global user.name. And when you press enter, you see that it does not give any output. Similarly, if I write down git config dash dash global user.email, you see there's still no output. It means we need to configure our account. Configuring your account is a one-time activity. If our Git was configured or linked to some account, it would have given the username and email as an output, which we see by the end of this lab session. You can type clear to clear the screen. Let's configure our account to the credentials of our skill curve account. We write down git config dash dash global user.name skill curve. If you remember, skill curve is the username that we just created while making our account on GitHub. Next, we assign the email ID like git config dash dash global user.email, git@skillcurve.com. Now we will check if we have properly assigned the username and email address. To do this, we simply type in git config dash dash global user.name. Now we see that it shows the username. Next we type git config dash dash global user.email. Similarly, it shows the email address we have assigned. This means that we have successfully configured the Git account on our local PC. Now you can pull, copy, clone, push the repositories and files to this account. Here you might be wondering that in this way anyone can access others' username and email ID and commit to their account. But it is not that way. When you will start to perform actions like pull, commit or others, you will be asked for an authentication password to authenticate your device with the account. We will see that in our future lab exercises.